I'm just happy for our guys and happy for our staff, and proud of the way our guys hung in there and stayed together. Not an easy game. Did not shoot the ball well from outside. West Virginia made a lot of tough shots, including that three from the top by McNeil that certainly could have been a backbreaker, but our guys hung in there and just stayed together, stayed the course. I told the guys in the locker room after, this is a response game. We talk all the time about response being your ability to focus on the next most important thing. And they hung in there and did a good job of that today.
Start with Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Shaka, what was your thought process when it came to that final possession for you guys to not call a timeout? And what was going through your head as you saw Ramey drive and kick it out and Andrew wide open and drain the three? What was going through your head? Well,
I mean, there was enough time on the clock where, we felt like our guards could make a good play when the free throw was missed and we got the rebound. I think anytime in that situation where you have enough time to go make a good play, you want to let your players go do that without the defense necessarily being set or having the advantage of, determining exactly where they want to go in a timeout. So Courtney did a good job pushing the ball. Our guys got spaced well. He drove, did a great job driving all day long. But that pass that he made to Andrew was a phenomenal pass. And, obviously Andrew showed a lot of poise to step in and shoot the ball the right way, shoot the ball with confidence. And, so happy that, he's the guy making the game-winning shot.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Shaka, speaking of Andrew, I think this is either the exact day or near the anniversary when you delivered the news to the team about his diagnosis. Today, he surpasses 1,000 career points at Texas. He drills the game winner. I mean, is it hard not to be a little emotional watching this guy do what he did today, considering all that he's been through at Texas?
I mean, I'm emotional even seeing him just go out on the floor and play. The place where we were 3 years ago and, just the way that I think everyone in our program felt in terms of just it's such a helpless feeling. And, when we would get a chance to see him in the hospital, it's a pit in your stomach. So, I mean, he's come so far. I don't know a lot of guys that would be able to do what he did from the standpoint of scrapping and clawing his way back. The one thing, Dustin, that is just so impressive about Andrew from the beginning after he was diagnosed was he kept saying, I'm going to come back and play. I'm going to come back and play. And I think the rest of us were like, man, we'll be happy if we can just, if you can just get back healthy. Forget playing right now. But I think that really helped him from a motivational standpoint that, hey, let me do everything I can within all my power to fight to get back healthy so that I can get back on the court. And, now he's just doing what he does. Andrew Jones, I don't think anyone's surprised he made that shot. He's a great shooter. I don't think anyone's surprised that, he's putting the ball in the basket well for us because he's really good at that.
And Matt didn't have a typical Matt-like game. He didn't play poorly, but he didn't look like the same Matt at times. But Courtney, on the other hand, seemed like he upped his leadership, his intensity. He was talking more. Just how big was just his presence on the floor consistently throughout the game?
Well, I mean, this is the thing, Dustin, about having these three guards is they don't all have to necessarily play an A game for us to win. But when you are playing a very good team like West Virginia, they're all going to have to give you something, and you're going to need one or two of them to really, really play well. Matt has been so solid and tough-minded, and he's just been such a leader. Today, I thought he was a step off, honestly. And his numbers weren't bad other than the turnovers. But I just thought his edge was a little bit off, and I'm always on him about that. But again, I want to give him credit for he set a standard at such a high point But I thought, Courtney had an assertiveness about him. I don't know if you saw, but I mean, we had some situations on the court where we had some guys kind of confronting each other. He led the way with that like he normally does. And that was necessary because, in the first half, we weren't defending the way we needed to.
Kirk, you're up.
Shaka, congratulations, first of all. Was this game kind of the perfect example of how this team's journey has gone? You're down, you're on the road, a place where you lost by 38, and to win like this?
Well, I think this game was a good example of our team staying together and really responding to some circumstances that were not ideal. We missed some shots that we normally, feel good about making. West Virginia deserves a lot of credit. They made some tough shots. I mean, they really, made some great individual plays. I think Culver is as difficult to defend as anyone in the league. I just did a quick check in my head. I couldn't think of anyone that's as hard to deal with one-on-one as him in our conference. So, yeah, I think it's a good indication just of our guys hanging in there, staying together, staying attached in this game. We got down 9. If that 9 goes to 11 or, 12, 15, then, it's going to be tough. So just staying attached in those situations so that we can come back.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a lot of stuff we got to get better at. And, it's a fine line. We want our guys to feel good about winning. But at the same time, in this league, you got to turn the page quickly because you got another really good opponent coming up.
Did you like hearing that Lenardi and others saying you may be a 1 seed, or does that scare you in January, early January?
I haven't heard that, Kirk. But that I know that kind of stuff is done, for the enjoyment of the fans and the media throughout the year. It seems like bracketology starts earlier and earlier every season. So, but the last time I checked, the projections that come out at the beginning of the season, during the season, at any point, that they really don't matter until the selection committee comes out and does an actual bracket, especially in a year like this. I mean, who knows? We just this is what I think, Kirk. When it's like 5 minutes before the game, I say to myself, all right, we get to play. We're actually going to play this game. This is phenomenal. So we're just focused on being in the moment.
Got 3 last questions. We'll go ahead and start with Nick.
Yeah, Shaka, Greg, pulls down 14 rebounds for you today. And I know that was big, especially with Jericho kind of dealing with foul trouble all day. Just how important has his impact been on the glass for y'all?
Really important. And we get on him about the ones he doesn't get, but 14's impressive. When he was in high school, both his dad and myself, we would always challenge him to get 20. And, he always felt like that was a ridiculously high number. But, I told him at some point in the game, he had grabbed a few in a row. I said, man, you might need to get 20 for us. So he didn't have 20, but for a minute there, it felt like he was grabbing every one, and we needed it.
And then just in terms of the 3-point shooting, obviously, outside of Andrew, everybody seemed to struggle. Did you like the looks that you were getting, and it was just maybe guys not knocking them down, or, what was your take on that?
Yeah, so Matt was 0 for 4. I take those all day long. He just didn't make them. He seemed a little bit off balance. Let's see. I thought Greg's looks were really good, and I thought he stepped into them really well. He was 0 for 4, and then a couple other guys missed some, but they were good open looks. I don't know that we forced, maybe 1 or 2 was a little forced, but, the way that our guys responded, even sometimes when you're missing shots, you tend to drop your head and your effort goes down, but I don't think that happened to us today.
Jeff, you're up.
Shaka, going back to Courtney real quick, I know you had talked and some of the other guys on the team had talked kind of earlier in his career about making sure his passion, his juice gets channeled in the right direction so it doesn't end up negatively impacting you guys. Where is he at in that process? And when all that stuff, that passion that he's got gets funneled in the right way, is that a result of the kind of performance you saw today?
He's made a ton of progress, Jeff. I mean, he's where is he at? He's certainly not at the finish line of that progression, but Courtney Ramey does not have a losing bone in his body. He is 100% winner. He's got incredible passion for team. He belongs in a team sport as much as anyone in the country. There's certain other guys, sometimes you wonder, maybe they'd be better served in golf or tennis or track, something that was individual, but he is a team sport guy and a leader of men. And he's come a long way with that. He's always been really influential. But I think this year it's more of a consistently positive movement that he creates on our team. And sometimes it's through confronting guys and getting on guys, but that's necessary. And, we're really fortunate to have him as a leader.
Last one, Chris, go ahead.
Shaka, kind of two questions in one, but you see what this team can do in practice. You've seen them, what they've done on the court in games all year. Does anything surprise you at this point? And kind of in the same vein, just how good does it feel to know the potential your team has and to see them achieve it, even when they're down and a chance to kind of the games start getting away from still battle and to just go through everything you went through today and still come out and win?
It doesn't really surprise me. To be honest with you, I know this is going to sound strange, but the thing that's the biggest unknown, and I don't think this is unique to us, is just, the twists and turns of this particular season because of all the changes and protocols and adjustments. Normally we come in here and there's 12, 14,000 people. And, certainly that's something that helps the home team for sure, but it impacts the road team too. And, I think our guys the other night against Iowa State, it was the first game that we had played without any fans. Because even in Asheville, there were some people. And our guys looked around and it was just human nature. I mean, I think it was a little bit of, man, like this is different. So that's probably the biggest thing, is just the guys being able to hang in there and play their best basketball, be connected with each other, despite the fact that, it's just a different time. But I'm not surprised that the guys are doing what they're doing. And I think we have definitely several more steps to go in terms of our development.